Hi guys, this is a video to try and explain. We've set you up for sole trader making tax digital. And we've set you up on two systems. One's called Xero and the other's called Hubdoc. And what you've got to do is you've got to do three things. Record your sales or your income, record your expenses, and connect to your bank account. So we'll take these in turn. Record your sales is the first thing, or your income. So what I suggest you do, this is Xero. We've set you up on Xero, and it's basically a bookkeeping tool. And if you put all your sales or your income in there and your expenses in there, then we can report every quarter to HMRC from this system, because as you know, the government have changed it now. So every sole trader from the 6th of April that earns over 50,000 has to use one of these types of systems to report to HMRC every quarter. So it will take a bit of time to familiarise yourself with the system, but if you can see here, I've set a test one up. And all you've got to do, the easiest way to create, the first thing we're going to do is do sales. Okay. So what you've got to do is to create a sales invoice is put plus here and it will say create new invoice. And then we'll come up with a screen here. So put in who your I would suggest you do for all your income, and that's all the people you work for sales, you put in a sales invoice. Okay, whether you send it to them or not, it doesn't matter. Just put a sales invoice in. So I don't know who you work for, I'll call it ABC. And there is no, at the moment, there's no one called ABC, or let's call it XYZ. There's no matching contact at the moment in Xero, so you'll just create one. It would potentially ask you for an email address if you want to email it to them. If you don't, then no problem. But I won't bother with the email. But if you want to put an email address in there, you can. Just save. So you can automatically send the invoice via email to your clients. It'll have an issue date. Don't worry about that. It's just the day's date. Due date, if you want a due date, when it's due, so put it 2 days. The invoice is number 2. Then you can put a description of what the invoice is in, services, for whatever it is. Quantity is usually 1. And then whatever you're billing them, so say £300 here, it always will go to sales. That's the account number in Xero, 200. It will automatically default to sales. And then I'm doing this for non-VAT sole traders. Most of you are non-VAT. If you are VAT registered, obviously you'd put VAT in there, but you're not. So. And that's it. And then just approve. You can either approve an email or just approve. I'll approve this one without emailing it. Okay. And that's it. So every time you bill a client or receive money from a client, I suggest you do a sales invoice. At the moment, you can see that they're in there. There are 2 invoices awaiting payment. We'll deal with the payment side afterwards. But here were 2 invoices, the one that you've just done and the one I did before. One for £300 and the other for 150. Okay, that just records all your income. I suggest you do that for all your income that you received within your sole trader account. Now, the next thing I want to go through is purchases or your costs, your expenses. Now, Xero has a system or another bit of software called Hubdoc, which we've set you up on. Okay. Now, this records all your purchase invoices, if you have any. So for the majority of your costs, you'll have purchase invoices. I'll show you how to deal with the ones that you haven't got purchase invoices for, but this deals with all your purchase invoices and receipts. So what this is it's basically optical recognition software. And what it does is it reads a purchase invoice that you've got and it posts it into Xero. It puts it into Xero. Okay, so I'll give you an example. There are 3 ways to get your purchase invoices into Hubdoc. If you receive your purchase invoices via email, well, let me just get that up. There's a special email address that you can just send that invoice to. So if you look here at the cog column, this is Hubdoc, remember? There's Xero and there's Hubdoc. Hubdoc is only for your costs, for your purchase invoices or receipts that you pay out for your sole trader business. Don't put any personal expenses there. So if you look at the cog and go to organisation, you'll see that there's a special email address there. Now, if you receive purchase invoices or your receipts via email, you can just email those receipts to this special email address. So I'll copy this address. And I just want to show you that I sent myself an invoice just to show you how it works. So say that was a supplier's invoice that got sent to you. I can just forward it. I've just copied that address. I can just forward it to this email address like that. I've sent it. And it should, maybe not instantaneously, but it will appear. It has done instantaneously. It appears in Hubdoc. Look, straight away. Now that invoice, that's a purchase invoice, one of our purchase invoices. I've just used this as an example. Now we want to get this into Xero. The vast majority of the details of that invoice, this recognition software reads it. Okay, so it's got the date, it's got the amount, it's got whether it's VATable or not. So choose the document type. Most of these will be invoices. Some of them will be receipts. Who the supplier is. You don't have to put the invoice reference in. What you need to do next is know where it goes to in Xero. What is this invoice? The first thing is, do you want to publish it as a purchase, as a spent money? It doesn't matter. I'd say for this one, it's a purchase. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's spent money or a purchase, but it's either a purchase or a spent money. I wouldn't put it as never AR or never a credit note. Purchase or spent money. The status is draft. I wouldn't have it draft. I'd say awaiting payment. If it's an invoice, if it's a receipt, it will have already been paid. Don't bother about this contact line. Okay. Well, no, because it's not in there yet. So, and then don't bother about that one. I don't think you need to enter that one. No, it will create a new contact. Select the line. What is this for? Now this links to Xero, so it will have all the expense categories in Xero. So for me, this is IT. It should, let's just have a look. No, because Xero's not registered, not Xero registered, or sorry, because your sole trader business is not VAT registered, it will post the full amount and it won't show the VAT. Okay, which is what you should be doing. You should include the full amount, which it does do. It picks this up anyway as the full amount rather than net amount plus VAT. If you're not VAT registered, which this video is for people that are not VAT registered, so your sole traders that are just going from a spreadsheet, now you have to use this bit of software. So publish as a purchase, awaiting payment. The code it goes to is IT software and consumables. Obviously, it might go to another code. And then publish. It wants the contact. So put the contact signable, which is, it will set one up. Add signable as a new contact. Create. It's created that contact. Now publish that. It should go into Xero. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. That's gone now. So if I look at Xero, it's usually pretty instantaneous. If I go to home, it's already there. Can you see? That £34.80 is already there. And not only that, it's got a copy of the invoice attached. So you can see there's a copy of the invoice attached. So in the past, these are digital records now. So, you know, before people would stuff their receipts in a shoebox. Nowadays, this automatically goes into Xero. So when we report to HMRC, we can see that, I'm just saying for this period, and this is just a test. This is just a test Xero. We can see that we've got sales invoices of income of 450. One I processed here for 300, the other one was 150, and costs of 340. Now we'd report that, we have to report that to HMRC every quarter now. Okay. So that's the two things that you need to do. First are make sure you know how to issue sales invoices and issue the sales invoices and record all your costs via Hubdoc. Now, I just showed you one way of putting your costs from Hubdoc into Xero. There's another way. There's another way people use. You can just upload the document if it's on your computer. Upload the document. It'll browse. Just browse the document. Browse your computer and upload the document there. That's the other way. And then the third way is if you don't get any emails with receipts or invoices, you can just, if you're in the shop, say, and you're buying some stationery, Hubdoc's got an app. Let me just find it. I've got so many apps on my phone now. Where's the Hubdoc app? We got an app on our phone. There it is. Wait. There's the Hubdoc app. Let me just test. Have a look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but what you've got to do is you got a receipt here. you press plus on your phone and take a picture of the receipt, and then it will ask you, where do you want this categorized in Xero? It will ask you where you want it categorized. And look, I've taken a silly picture of something that doesn't relate to anything. It relates to some oranges. And but yeah, I mean, that's a picture. And then it will ask you, you save it. Oh, and then you come here and do the same thing. Send it as Xero. Yeah, from the picture. Easy peasy. Okay, so they're the two things you've got to do. Record your sales, record your purchases. 3 ways to record your purchases. 1, direct email, which is in here. Organisation, there's the email address. You can upload it here, or you can use the app in your phone to take pictures. The last thing I want to talk about, but it's not so important, but it's useful, is you can connect your bank account to. There are other ways to record transactions. So things like things that you might not get receipts for. I don't know, some things that are done by direct debit, sometimes you don't get receipts for, that are business related. So the other way is you connect your bank account to Xero. Add bank account here, and it will bring in all the transactions in your bank account. I suggest you start with recording sales and purchase invoices. I'll do a separate video, what happens if you add a bank account, but it won't affect recording your sales and purchase invoices. You can add your bank account. If you have a separate bank account for your sole trader business, all the better. If you don't have a separate bank account, you can still add your bank account that has your personal and your sole trader expenses, and I'll show on a different video how you need to deal with those. So that's it for now. The important thing is recording your sales invoices or your income, and I'd record a sales invoice for all the amounts that you receive money for. Not interest, not bank interest, of course, but just sales invoices, things that you do work for, and purchases, all the things that related to your sole trader business. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.